known, I've been working on this new era for Girl Talk, and I'm really excited to see where we go, and I can't wait for y'all to see what I've been working on. There's a ton of stuff coming with my website and just a more interactive platform that we can, make this a group project. But let's just catch up for a second, and then we'll get into more of that nitty-gritty stuff. So the last time I talked to you was episode 19. I was in New York. I was actually stuck in New York. I was there for so long. I was only supposed to be there for 4 days. It ended up being there for 8 days. There was a tropical storm that hit, and I just couldn't get home on American. And I actually ranted about it on a TikTok, and it went viral. And it was actually put on the news because I was ranting about how I was stuck there due to weather, and I ended up having to spend $2,500 on 4 more days in the city than I planned to originally, and it just went viral. People were ripping me up. They were defending American Airlines, and they were ripping me up, which I was like, okay, kick the small man in the room while they're down. But I eventually made it home, and as I did, I just got super busy. So as you know, I quit my job and officially ended in July. So after that, I was on this path of career exploration and trying to figure out what I'm going to do for work, but also how I'm going to make money and how I'm going to pay my bills. And so as I've been doing that, I just got so busy. I traveled so much. I went to LA a ton so we're the first week of December. The last time I talked to you was I believe the first week of August. So that's, 4 months of us, August, September, October, November. Yeah, 4 months of us not being together. And I have so much to tell you, so much that has happened in those 4 months, from dating stories to friendships and career and job and new podcast opportunities and everything. So we have a lot to catch up on. And that's what I planned this episode to be. It's episode 20, which is awesome. I was really hoping for something really special for this episode, but what's not more special than me getting to spill the tea over the last 4 months that I've been absent from you guys. And we're approaching the holiday. Well, we're in the holidays, but we're in Christmas season right now, which is my favorite time of the year. The weather's cooling down here in Texas, and you just feel warm, and everyone's coming inside, and everyone just wants to do cute Christmas stuff, and everyone's typically a little bit happier this time of year. But I mean, with the seasonal depression and everything, you never know. But I am definitely happier when it hits this time of the year, because I love the weather. I love the Christmas cringy, fun holiday stuff, the ice skating, the lights, the gift giving, and all of that, and being around your family. Thanksgiving was last week, and it just is a great time to sit and just reflect and have gratitude for the things that you have in your life. So I hope that you all did that last week by spending time with your loved ones, whether that was friends, family, partner, whatever. But let's just go back on a timeline. So I haven't talked to y'all since August, the first week of August. So in August, I started doing a lot more of these hunting banquets that I've talked to y'all about, I think in the financial episode of, I work for this agency that does raffle sales, and we go, and I get questions about this all the time. We go to hunting banquets and sell and raise money for their raffles, which is raising money for their charities or their conservation or whatever. And then I make a commission off of that, and it's great money. You get to travel a lot. It's a seasonal thing. So it's end of August to beginning of November, mid-November, and then it'll stop over the holidays, and then we'll pick up back in end of January, early February. So I've been doing that, and I was traveling so much. I was in Nashville, I was in Arkansas, I was in Louisiana, I was in Pittsburgh, I was here in Texas. There's banquets everywhere. So did I say Nashville? Yes, I said Nashville. Mm-hmm. And on these journeys, I've met great people. I've gotten to get really close with some of the girls that I work with because it's a hustle. I mean, you fly in, first flight in the morning, then you work the banquet that night, and then you're on the first flight out the next day. So it's less than 24 hours in a city, and then you go, you hustle, grind at the banquet, and then you go home. You have no really time to do anything else. So you're in these places for a short period of time, but you get to meet cool people, you get to travel, which is awesome. So I started doing that. And then, so August, and August, I really started to date people, like multiple people. That was just from August to now. I have so many dating stories to tell you about. But I believe I've talked about this before, but if I haven't, my therapist, whenever I was going through my breakup, was talking to me about, go date multiple people at the same time, because typically I would date someone or start talking to someone, and then I end up in a relationship with them for a year, 2, 3 years. And I just kind of put all my eggs in one basket, and then sometimes it's been a little bit impulsive, and then you are down the line, you're like, wow, I never really got to know this person. And you're trying to like get to know them while you're already in a relationship with them. And it's just like a mess. So my therapist suggested, and was like, Gabby, why don't you go and try to date multiple people? And this, with my brain, like I would be calling people different names. Like this just doesn't really seem like it would work for me. But I was like, it's not like something's not working in my dating life. So I was like, well, I'm going to try to date multiple people and see how it goes. And I'm just like talking about like going on a date here, going on a date there. But I actually ended up talking to 2 guys that lived in 2 different states at the same time. And it was perfect because then I could go in and see them, or they could come see me. And because as much as I wanted to date, I really wanted to play with the idea of dating someone that maybe wasn't in Dallas, because I'm so busy and I traveled so much. So I was like, if they're busy and they're in a different state, we can, travel to see each other, and we could be really intentional when we're together at that time. And so I would go and visit them, or they would come and visit me, and it would be great because we would have, great time then, and then I could come back and I could focus. I could be at home and see my friends, and I just didn't really have time for like a full-time Dallas boyfriend or whatever. So that worked for about 3 weeks, and then one got really attached to me, and it was absolutely insane. Out of respect for everyone, I'm just going to briefly tell parts of the story from my experience, because I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but just met someone who was kind of the complete opposite of my last relationship. He was extremely committal. He knew exactly what he wanted, and he wanted to move very fast though. And we were in 2 different cities. So the first time we hung out, and was a month later than the second time that we hung out. And so we only hung out 2 times in this, time of being together. And he just was very committed. And I just asked him, and told him that, and I was listening to my therapist, dating around, and he, really wanted to be exclusive. And after the second time that we ever hung out, and I was just not ready for that. And I didn't want to do anything impulsive, because I did really like this guy, but I also just didn't want to be impulsive and jump into something just because it was like shiny, and he wanted to commit to me and kind of knew what he wanted and stuff. So I asked him, and I was like, hey, I, really enjoy spending time with you, but like, can we just slow things down? Like, I am still figuring out so many things in my life that I just want to enjoy every season of dating you, talking to you, then eventually dating you, and then eventually being in a relationship, and eventually being, I want to enjoy every single season. And it wasn't received well on his end, and he just showed me what I needed to see and that we weren't supposed to be together. It got a little ugly, but after we kind of talked it through, everything's cool, but did get blocked. Men love to block me on social media and their phone numbers, which is crazy because I'm not trying to text you or anything after whenever I'm like done and moved on, like it's time to like pack up and go, especially if it's someone that I don't really know that well. But like, men love to block me, and I just don't understand. I don't get it. I really don't get it. So I just think it's childish. I just think that and I also have, this is a note to Apple products, Apple business, whatever. I don't think it's fair that if someone blocks your number, they can still call you, they can still text you, they can still have your location if you've ever shared it with them, but you're blocked and you have no access to them. I just don't think it's right. I just don't think it's fair. But you know what? I am not the creator of Apple, or I don't work for Apple. I just don't get it. So anyways, that was crazy. And then I was like, all right. So was still talking to another guy that lived in a different state, and I really liked him as well. Things were going really well until I got ghosted. And I've never been ghosted by somebody like this before. Like, conversation with people have like shifted, or like not shifted, kind of like faded out. But I've never been like ghosted, like where I had a trip planned to go see them and then literally do not hear from them ever again. Like, and this man was like, gosh, this is a crazy story, but this man is almost 10 years older than me and ghosting people, which just is crazy because I just think it's so immature. I think that ghosting, like, you don't have the balls to like communicate with somebody how you're feeling, which you can't. Me as a receiver, if you're telling me that, you know, like, hey, you know, this isn't really working out, or like, I don't want to do a long distance thing, or I've got a lot going on, I don't have time for a relationship, or whatever, you should be able to communicate that to somebody. I'm not going to take offense to that. Like, yeah, I might be sad for a second, but at the end of the day, you're just being honest, and I can't take offense to that. But I don't know. Ghosting people is wrong. So if you ghost people, I've never ghosted anybody, but if you ghost people, it's wrong. So stop doing it and grow up, and don't get into anything. Don't talk to anybody. Don't commit to a relationship or commit to somebody, or whatever, if you're going to fucking ghost them, because I think it's the most like childish, immature thing that you can do. So I tried to date multiple people at the same time, and it didn't really work out. And then I was left by myself again. I'm single again. Maybe I should start trying to date people in Dallas. But I don't want to meet people. Those people, like the circles, like I'm either like out with my girlfriends, or I am doing like, yeah, I'm like out with my girlfriends, and I don't really go places in Dallas where like you're meeting people like to potentially date, because like my girls and were like, I used to work in the service industry, so I like to go to like these certain places that like my friends own or I used to work at, because one, I can drink for free, and two, it's like fun people to be around, and it's like the same crowd. So like I'm not like searching for like my man in this crowd. But also like I don't really want to meet my man out when I'm like out and about with my girlfriends. I just don't really want to do that. So I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to download a dating app. And I've dabbled in the dating apps before. I downloaded Hinge, and like in the past, I've only been on Bumble. But I downloaded Hinge, and I applied to get on Raya last year, like a year and a half ago, and I have not gotten accepted. All my friends are on that fucking app, and I'm not, which I don't really care, because you'll hear my reasoning in a second, but I just don't understand. So Raya, if you're listening, I don't want to be on your app anymore, but like, what the fuck? Because all of my friends are on it. Why can't I be accepted? Whatever. I don't want to be on it anyways. So I have been on dating apps in the past, and I've talked to people on them, like matched and messaged people, but I've never gone on a date. I've never gone on like a Bumble date. Okay, so I downloaded Hinge in the last couple months and started like chatting with people on there, but I just can't get myself to go meet somebody. And I feel bad because like I'll chat with them and we'll like make plans, but I just don't end up going, and I just end up canceling. I don't know. I've been this way since the last time I was on a dating app was like 2020, and I just have been this way since then. And I never met anybody that I was like, okay, I'm actually going to go on a date with them. So I'm not a very good dating app person either, but I am open to dating still. I do I like being in a relationship. I like being single too. I've got a lot going on. I have a lot of amazing things going on in my life, but I do, I am in the market. I'm in the freaking market, but I might be seeing someone. I don't know. Maybe not, but we'll see. What I've learned is that men are scary, and men are scary in the fact that I've been shown great guys. They're like awesome, and we're vibing, and then all of a sudden they flip a fucking switch, and it's like have left me jaw dropped, like, where the fuck did this come from? Where did you come from? Because this is not who I thought I was talking to. So that's the importance of taking things slowly and really learning learning about this person before fucking diving in, because then you're gonna jump in and they're gonna start revealing parts of themselves and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? Who the fuck is this guy? Because that has happened. So men are fucking scary. But I am just letting things come and go in my life as they need, and I'm not attaching to things that are not attaching to me. And that's where I have been with like dating in the last couple of months. That kind of ties a bow on the dating life circle. It's been fucking chaotic, but it's also been really fun because dating, I started a little series on TikTok called If He Wanted To, He Fucking Would. But I've archived like all of those videos because then these men started acting crazy. And I was like, okay, well, maybe don't get too excited about this shiny bright lights. Yeah, gosh, it's crazy. I'm just like a little traumatized a little bit. But dating is fun, and it's fun to get to know these people when there's like, you don't put as like many expectations into it, and you just get to know you just get to know people, and you start to get to know what you like and what you don't like, and you can kind of figure these things out faster, I feel like, the more people that you date. So shout out to my therapist, because I've definitely learned a lot. I'm not a multiple guy dating girl, learned that, but it did teach me not to put all my eggs in one basket, and like, don't try to get excited and don't start planning your future with somebody after talking to them for a few months or a month or a few weeks or a few months or whatever, because then they could just turn out to be crazy. So just take your fucking time, get to know people, because you're in no rush to find your person, because your person's already out there. Just when they're ready for you and whenever you're ready for them, it's all gonna click and it's all gonna make sense. So that's been the dating aspect. All right, next genre topic is going to be, this podcast opportunity. So I've been in LA a lot in the last 4 months, and I got asked if I could host a podcast that is not my own. And you're like, well, what about Girl Talk? Because you haven't posted, or you haven't, podcasted in 4 months. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. But I promise you that I will be better, one. And two, I do it for y'all. I experience all these things to come back and debrief you and entertain you. I just watched Gladiator 1, and when he goes like, "Are you not entertained? If you're having beef with me right now, that's what I ask you, is if you are not entertained by all this." So next genre or podcast, I got asked to host a show for this app, which I'm not going to get into too much details yet because it hasn't come out yet, and I don't want to just overshare, and I'm not really sure how much I can share, but it's for an app, and I'm basically hosting a show, and we are talking about using the app and the experiences that you have on the app and all that. So it's a really cool opportunity, based in LA. So I've been going there a lot, but LA is there's an LA man, and now I'm like, I don't ever want to go to fucking LA ever again, which I was really starting to like it there, but it's fine. It's a big city. It's a big state. So that's been great. I have been doing the marketing and social media for my family's businesses, and I also have been doing marketing and social media stuff for myself. Christina and I are starting a company, which I'm not going to tell you about yet because I am still figuring out brand identity and stuff, and I just want to be very articulate when I tell you about all this fun stuff that we're going to be doing. But Christina and I are starting a company, and starting a company with your best friend is fucking hard, but we've actually done a really good job about communicating and not killing each other. So I'm going to have to do a whole episode once we kind of get everything fine-tuned with that, because I would love for y'all to see this like entrepreneurial side of me and how my mind works and the ideas that I have. So we're going to have to do a whole episode on that, because I think it's awesome to branch out, try new things, and never set limits for yourself, because starting a company sounds super intimidating, and you think that you need to have all these credentials and like you don't. And everyone has great ideas. It's just about execution and being organized and actually taking the leap and doing it. So I'm starting a company with Christina, which will launch in the spring of next year. So I've been really busy doing that. And then I also started taking on more work with my family's businesses. So as you know, we own med spas, and then we own doctor's offices in the DFW area. And I worked for my family a long time ago. And before my mom and I's relationship got really solidified, it was really hard working for her because I was entitled and brought my ego into things. And then she was treating me like her daughter instead of an employee. So if you like add those together, it just arguments and turned out to be a mess. And it's just like, you don't want any, like, it's just different. Like if you work with your family, like you understand, so I went and worked and did the corporate thing for 5 years. And then I came back and I worked for them I've been working for free, and then finally just started getting paid. But working for free, my parents blessed me with more than anything. Honestly, I could work for them for free for the rest of my life and never work enough to pay them back for everything that they've done for me. But I wanted to just show them that I was serious about it. So I've been given more responsibilities, and it's been great. It's been fun. It's been great fun. And we are still setting our schedule to the days that we want to work. It's very, like, all of my stuff is very project based. So it's great. And we're having a really good time. I'm in such a good place when it, like, emotionally, financially, romantically is insane. But and then friendships are great as well. I started, let's see, where else have I been in the last couple of months? So I went to LA. I'm going to Miami this weekend for Art Basel, which is going to be really fun. I went hunting a few weeks ago, or 2 weekends ago, which was really fun. And I'm going to go again in a few weeks. I'm like in this like hunter girl era. Not really, but I've hunted before like when I was younger, and I've never like shot or killed anything, but it's fun to just be out on the ranch and like go and do it. But I really want to actually like try to go hunting, and but the people that I go with, they're all bow hunters, and this is probably like speaking a different language to most of you, but bow hunting is just it's just so hard. But it's very like it's very respectable, because it's like to kill with a bow versus a gun. You just respect the animal a little bit more, which I feel like you're like, well, if you're killing the animal, how are you respecting it? You know what? An argument that I can't get into today, but I have been doing that. And then I've also been riding horses. After I got back I went to Colorado as well. And I rode horses in Colorado. And so last year, at the end of last year, I started riding English, and I hated it. Grew up riding Western. Fun fact, I used to barrel race when I was little. And then I wanted to learn English, just to potentially like show horses, but wasn't for me. And then I started riding Western this year again, and have absolutely loved it so much. I'm actually possibly maybe in the market for my own horse, I ride at this barn that I love so much. The instructor he's like a coach, instructor, friend, whatever you want to call him. He's my like teacher, and he has taught me so much about myself, and connecting with these animals is such a spiritual experience. You are connecting with animals that are 10 times your size, and you're trusting them to guide you and lead you through these drills and routines. And I'm learning how to barrel race again, and they're also trusting you to lead them and trust them. It's just such a surreal experience to be around these horses. And I think that the more time you spend around horses, the smaller and smaller your ego gets, because these motherfuckers are going to put you in your place. I have never been checked harder than by a horse, and they don't put up with ego. There's no pride in horseback riding. You have to really let your guard down and trust this animal, and it's amazing. It's spiritual, and it's been therapeutic in ways. Equine therapy is so real. Just being around them makes me so much happier. But I just love it so much. And I talked about Montana whenever I was there earlier this summer, and my parents are really interested in buying land there, so definitely, I do see Montana and horses in the future, but they're very expensive. They're a lot of maintenance, but the barn that I ride at is amazing, and they would take care of him, and other people would get to ride him. They'd use him for lessons and stuff, but we'll see. It's a very, very big investment and commitment, but it's something that I love, and it's really important, and I have just found a lot of value in like going out there. I go out there two to three times a week. I volunteer out there, and it's been an incredible experience. So I've been doing that the last couple of months. What else have I been doing? When I was in New York, I was talking about like exploring places to live, and I think that Dallas is home. Unless I'm to get a job opportunity somewhere else, or meet someone, in a different city, and that causes me to move. I personally have traveled to coast, and I'm not in the in-between, and I just haven't found a place that feels like home, like Dallas does. So it's definitely home, and I am hoping to set some roots here next year. And so we'll see what that means. But I also, in the last episode, I really talked about struggling with alcohol and all of that, and my mental health has been amazing. I was really struggling in that episode, and during that time. New York was a great trip in a lot of ways, but also it was eye-opening experience whenever I got home, because I realized I was down really, really bad. And I have spent from then to now every day just bringing gratitude back into my life, working on my relationship, my faith. I don't really want to get into my faith on the show, just because I respect all opinions when it comes to religion. And it's hard for me to say that what I believe in is right and whatever you may believe in is wrong. So I don't want to come on here and start preaching about what I believe in. But I am connecting with my faith a lot more, which has been amazing and really important and crucial in my path of getting my mental health back in order. And so everything's been really, really good. And the only thing that's been missing from my life is you guys. And I hate that, because podcasting is an outlet for me to really come and share my experiences, but also be helpful for y'all. When I was down at my dad's for Thanksgiving, talking to my family members, uncles and cousins, and they're listening to the show, and it just makes, and then I go and talk to other people, and they're like, what, you haven't posted anything, like how's it going? And I'm just like, wow, you guys actually really care. And I just forget to I just don't realize that this is so much bigger than me coming on here and yapping. I really do hear and see y'all, paying attention and listening and just, being, whatever. I don't know the word, but I see it, and I missed it. I missed coming on here and yapping with you. So we're tying up the end of the year. I have every episode planned out for the rest of the year. I'm going to film in Miami this weekend, which is going to be really fun. So next week we're going to do a Miami episode with my 2 girlfriends that are going. I'm bringing the mics, I'm bringing the camera. We're going to do a Miami episode, a Miami bit. I'm going to have my mom on here, which that episode in itself might break the fucking internet, but I'm going to have my mom on here. And then I want to do a recap of 2024 once we hit that last week of December. I want to go through my vision board. I'm looking at it right now. And I really do challenge you if you're a vision board maker in January, whip it out quarterly, because I'm telling you, I just left it up there, and then I went back in August or September and looked. You would not believe how many things came to fruition on that board. And this is in January. There are cabin in Montana's up there, made that in January. Didn't even really meet the people that I went to. No, I didn't even meet the people I went to Montana with until April this year. So Montana, there's horseback. Okay. We're going to, I'm excited. I'm just really excited because I'm really excited for that episode. So I want to do a 2024 recap, and I want to recap the vision board making, because it's crazy. So I really challenge you to do that. Do a vision board if you're not one to already do that, but make sure that you're checking in and looking and seeing what has come true and what hasn't, because it's crazy. It's crazy. We're going to go through it. I'm traveling a ton in December. I have this weekend is Miami. Next weekend I am possibly going to New York. The weekend after that I'll be in Houston, and the weekend after that I'll be in Lake Tahoe. And then it'll be New Year's, and then I have a ton of travel in January as well. Big things are going to be happening in 2025. I can't wait, but I am being very present in these last 4 weeks of the year, because I love December, and after December's over I'm gonna have to wait 12 months for it to come back, and it's just such a great time to reflect. Everyone's kind of slowing down a little bit, and I have some really big plans for 2025, which we'll talk about in a few weeks after we get through the little humps leading up until Christmas. What are we asking for Christmas this year? Because every year it kind of gets harder, which I don't know what your situation is. I have a very very blessed with parents that have done really well for themselves. So my mom is my gift giver. She loves to spoil her babies. So every year she asks us what our gifts are for. On my dad's side, my stepmom buys us everything throughout the year, and it's super special. But my mom, she's more like, give me a list of the things that you need, and you can have it under the tree. So what are we asking for Christmas? I started doing a list, and it was all cleaning supplies for my house and my pets. Automatic litter box, new vacuum, carpet cleaner. And that was really sad making that list. And then I took a step back, and it's like everything else. So like I will buy for myself, because if I want it, I'm impulsively going to get it, and I don't want to wait for till Christmas for it. And I'm like, I work hard to be able to afford things for myself and not have to ask anyone else. So, but it's like things I don't want to spend my own money on is like a vacuum and an automatic litter box. But oh my gosh, speaking of litter boxes, I got another cat. His name is Banksy. He's a fucking psychopath. Picasso is an angel baby. Shout out Picasso, because he's the best little baby ever. Banksy's a terrorist, but I love him. He is 5 months old. I rescued him, I guess like he was being fostered, and I rescued him from the SPCA foster program, and he's beautiful. He's super sweet, but he's also insane. Picasso was not this bad when he was little, and they play together, they sleep together, they snuggle in each other's arms, Picasso and Banksy, and I love seeing that, because the first time you see your cats snuggling together, like tears were brought to my eyes. So I have Banksy, and he's amazing, but he's also crazy. And Leo is just doesn't understand why. But hopefully next year we're going to have a bigger space, so then Leo can have his side of the house, and then the cats can have their side of the house. Maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. What else has been going on? That friendships are great. Girls are good. Been having a lot of fun, in Dallas while I've been here. Can't really think of anything else that is like pertinent to right now. I really just wanted to catch up with you guys on this episode and just tell you about my dating debauchery. I'm looking at my notes, and I'm just like, this is the ghosted, love bombed, and meeting the parents. It's like a tally, which is just describes the few encounters that I had with men in the last couple of months. But it's been an experience. I have no regrets, and at the end of the day, you just have to have the self-awareness to know that not everyone is for you, and you have to go and kiss a few frogs before finding your prince. And I'm also learning so much about myself in all of these experiences, so they're not like total losses when they end poorly. But that's really all that I have to say for today. I missed you guys so much. I am sorry it's been 4 months, but it's all been for good reason. And I think that this next era or phase or season of Girl Talk is going to be awesome. And again, I can't wait for y'all to come along on this ride with me. But yeah, so I will see you guys next Tuesday for the Miami episode, and I'll have 2 guests on, which will be fun. That I've never had 2 guests on, and we're just gonna yap and chat and talk about girl things, talk about Miami things, and kind of recap our weekend a little bit. So I'll see you next Tuesday. I missed you guys, and that's it. Mwah. Bye.